There's one life. That life is perfect. That life is God. That life is my life now. There is one life. That life is perfect. That life is God. That life is my life now. Beloved community, Thomas Paine once penned the famous phrase that these are the times that try men's souls. Women's souls, children's souls, all souls are tried in times such as these. He went on to say the summer soldier and the sunshine patriot would shrink from their obligation to their country under circumstances such as these. Well, my call, my request is not an obligation to our country that must be answered, but an awareness of the oneness of God and our consciousness and our conscious awareness of that truth. The realization that there's only one of us here, and the reason why we have such angst in our body and our psyche right now is because we are connected to everything that's happening everywhere. There's only one being, and so how we react in this moment, how we respond in this moment is affecting the whole. I'm calling upon us to remember the words of, what's it says? Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful and committed individuals, actually it says, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful and committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, that's all that ever has. This quote by Margaret Mead is my slogan, and it's my gift to you right now. Never doubt that your consciousness is making a difference in the world right now. How you respond to the things that are happening on the 24/7 news cycle that is always responding to a crisis somewhere in the world and is always letting us know the latest victim in society. Never doubt that your response is making a difference. One with God is always a majority. The realization of being one with God is always an effective response to any circumstance or any situation. The world right now doesn't need us to be afraid. It doesn't need us to be angry. It doesn't need us to seek retaliation or revenge. The song says that what the world needs now is love, and I agree with that. That love is the greatest healing force, the greatest and most powerful expression in the universe, and right now the love of God that indwells each and every one of us is required. It's required that each of us bring it forth from the depths of our souls, from the very essence of who we are, and allow it to blossom and give its fragrance to the world. There is an opportunity here, like perhaps never before. Perhaps never before has humanity had the ability to be aware of so many conflicts in so many places at the same time. Perhaps never before there's been an opportunity to realize that I am responding to all of these things, and that the way I respond is going to make the difference in not just my life, but all of humanity. People, take a moment right now to breathe. Take a moment to sit down and get in touch with the truth of who you are. If you must take to the streets, and some of us must take to the streets, let us take to the streets with the realization that I am the presence of God walking through these streets. That right here and right now I'm allowing the essence of God that indwells me, indwells all of existence to lead, guide, and direct my path. In the 11 laws of God, it starts out telling us that we are born from a peace that is so great that nothing can disturb it, and that we are here to demonstrate that peace and to prosper in all we think and all we say and all we do. This simply means that regardless of circumstance, regardless of situation, or how difficult it might look on that 24/7 news cycle, there's an opportunity here for me, for you, for each of us to go deeper and recognize that there's a power and a presence greater than all circumstance and all situation that is animating me right here and right now. That is the essence of me right here and right now. And not only is it the essence of me, it's the essence of all beings and all circumstances everywhere. And that the difference I make here today is going to make a difference for all life kind. Do you realize that we are so powerful that if we dive into the ocean actually has to open up and allow us in? We're aware of how the weight of our bodies will displace water in a bathtub, But the same thing is true in the ocean. It's just so imperceptible that we cannot see it. But just because you don't see the difference that you're making in the world, it may be imperceptible. That does not mean that you are not making a difference. Right now, your consciousness is required. All of our consciousness, each of our consciousness is required. We are being called to arms, not to arms to get into a fight, but to arms to come into an awareness of the truth of who we are. The universe is waiting for our recognition of ourselves. It's standing on tiptoe, waiting, inquiring, do you know me? Can you see me? As you go about your day and as you respond in whatever way you feel necessary to handle the information that's coming across on the 24/7 news cycle, and that's all it is. It's information. It's allowing us to see where the hurt is, where the healing needs to be, because it's touching our hurt and it's touching where we need to be healed. And so our work is always inner work. It doesn't mean that we don't go out and don't do things in the quote unquote external world, but there really is no external world. It's all just a projection of our own being. And so it doesn't mean we don't go out and participate in these things. But we want to remember who we are while we're there. We want to know that the power and the presence of God is participating in us and through us and as us. And as we march, God is marching. As we sing, God is singing. As we protest, God is protesting. Not because there's something that can work against God, but because we are calling together the essence of who we are, all of ourselves. The poem by Please Call Me by My True Names by Thich Nhat Hanh says, please call me by my true names so I can hear all my joys and all of my cries all at once, so that the door to my heart can be left open. And that's the door of compassion. And that's what the world needs more than anything else. Every person involved in every skirmishing and every quote-unquote act of hostility is looking for a love so deep, a peace so deep that it cannot be disturbed. And they're confused about how to get that and how to demonstrate that. But Viktor Frankl taught us that the greatest and the last human dignity is our ability to choose how we respond. And so I'm asking that each of us who know the truth to respond from the truth that we know, the unconditional love of God that overwhelms and bubbles up from the depths of who and what we are. Allow that love to froth and bubble into every experience, every protest, every song, every activity, every demonstration. Be the presence of God wherever you find yourself, because you are the light that leads us all home. Each of us is the light that leads us all home. I'm calling upon each of us to take a breath, take a moment, know the truth, and reflect it in our actions. I know that it's happening all around the world. I know that like beings are doing this all around the world, and I'm just calling each of us back to that consciousness. I thank you for your time, and I'm knowing that God is all there is, and that right here and right now, there's a power and a presence so great. There's a peace that's so deep that it cannot be disturbed, and it's happening in the midst of each and every one of us. All of humanity is experiencing this in their own way, and I'm grateful that I know this. I'm grateful for your time. Namaste.